Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Pokemon OmegaRuby. I'm your host, ThePikaWu. In the last episode, we made our way here to Petalburg City, helped Wally catch a Pokemon because he wanted to have one on his, or whenever he moved to Verdant Turf. So we managed to do all that, and today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be finishing off talking to all the NPCs here that we haven't talked to yet, and I keep forgetting that I was on save, because I did a bit of training off screen, and yeah, I got myself a better ult. I got a Timid Nature, and I got an Adamant Beldum, so very happy that I got those. Didn't take me as long as I thought it would, but I mean, whatever. So yeah, we're gonna continue talking to all the NPCs here. I guess I don't remember if I went back upstairs. I don't think there's an NPC upstairs though. I think that was like Wally's old room. But yeah, we're gonna continue talking to them. Then we're gonna make our way out to towards Petalburg Woods, and we're gonna have a little bit of a fateful encounter, and then we're gonna make our way to Route 104 before we call it a day, because you know, time of course is the thing, and there's a lot of people to talk to, a lot of trainers to battle, stuff like that. Excuse me, weather's kind of messing with me. It's kind of going back and forth between hot and cold. Like, it's currently, I think, roughly 55-ish, I think. It was 57 when I woke up, which was actually a few hours ago. But I found myself being caught up in a bunch of other shit, so that's why I'm recording this a bit late. So I do apologize for that. But anyways, you know, now we're out here, so Route 104. Technically, we're going to be on Route 104 like twice. Petalburg Woods is kind of in between, like, one part of Route 104 and the other part of 104. So, I mean, but yeah. So what we're going to be doing is we're pretty much going to be using Ralts a lot, just because we want to get it leveled up. Obviously, Beldum's going to be a problem. I mentioned this in the last episode because it's not our official trainer name. It doesn't have the OT of Sarah. It doesn't have the like trainer ID number either. That's the same as mine. So obviously after level 10 it will start to disobey me, and that's obviously no bueno, but that won't be a problem after we beat the first gym, and the first gym loses basically to Mudkip, so we don't really have much to worry about. Of course, the problem with the first gym is that everything that I have or will have that's super effective against it will be all special. Believe it or not, Mudkip doesn't really get a very amazing physical move until about 29, I think. Maybe 28? I don't know. Before we get any further, I also want to mention, for those of you who do have OmegaRuby and AlphaSapphire, I already did this. There is even, okay, I'm just going to read this off of Serebii. For those of you with Pokemon OmegaRuby and AlphaSapphire, and even those in Europe ahead of its launch, a new patch has been made available on the Nintendo 3DS eShop. This patch comes listed just to fix various bug fixes in the game, which we are still trying to determine. It is required to go online. The patch requires 271 blocks to download. You can access it using the QR codes over on Serebii. Of course, they have the Japanese thing on it, so I don't know if it's universal or what, but I mean, if not, you can just find it on the eShop. If you're online, whenever you load up your DS or whatever, and you go to select the game, it will say, oh hey, you have an update here, and if you click it, it'll give you the option to take you right to it through the eShop. So that's what I did with my AlphaSapphire. My digital version of OmegaRuby didn't do that for some reason, and usually with my Pokemon X, because that's a digital copy, it would normally do it just like my AlphaSapphire did, so I don't know why I didn't do it, but I don't know. Either way, if you have the games, either or both, you might want to get the patch, of course, because you want to go online. So, I mean, there's that. God, I hate this weather. I really fucking hate this weather. Next up I want to cover is, for those of you in Europe and Australia, the Diancie distribution event is due to end on Friday. This event gives you a special Diancie which cannot be found in normal gameplay. This event is a serial code event and requires going to a store in order to receive the code, which is then redeemed in Mystery Gift, which I did already on my own personal game, and I ended up giving out 2 codes like 2 weeks ago. So, I mean, I think that's already ended for America though. I'm not entirely sure. I think it ended either this past Sunday or like last Sunday, something like that. It was sometime just before OmegaRuby and AlphaSapphire's release. If you are in the United Kingdom, you can get it at Game. If you're in Germany, Italy, Norway, Finland, Sweden, or Denmark, you can get it at GameStop. And in the Netherlands, you can get it at Bart, Smit, and Inner Toys. In France, it's available at FNAC and Micromania stores. And in Spain, it's available at Game and Toys R Us. Just feel like covering this for anyone that might be watching this from overseas and actually cares about news when it comes to things Pokemon related, and they don't frequent Serebii enough. I mean, I try to do that just because. And I think as of yesterday, the Pokemon Puzzle Challenge went live for Europe. So, I mean, I don't know if that was covered yesterday or not. I don't remember if I covered that. So I'm covering it now just in case. So, another thing I want to kind of talk about is for anyone who's already beat this game, if you want to go check out Mootypwns over on YouTube as well, over on YouTube as well. She's been doing a lot of kind of like tips, things for the secret bases, things about how to hatch an egg easier. There's a cool new feature in the game that we'll get to personally that I really want to show off. But I don't know, we're going to be covering a good number of this anyways when we get around to it in our Let's Play. But I mean, if you find yourself, you know, wanting to do post-game stuff because you've already beaten the game, then I mean, your thing. There's another thing that we also kind of need to talk about, and I'm sure we all remember how we kind of had a little bit of a talk about the Dex Nav. It turns out that the Dex Nav actually can help increase shiny rates. I would assume that it's even more so if you happen to have the shiny charm, of course, but I'm not sure like how much it increases your chances of finding a shiny or what. But apparently the Dex Nav, like, you know how there's like the search level, apparently that level can reach up to about 999. A lot of people speculated the max being 99 instead of 999. But apparently that's a thing, and the higher up your level gets, the better potential the Pokemon has. I think it requires you to be at a decent level in order to find like egg moves or just rare moves in general on them. There's always, of course, like hidden abilities and stuff like that as well. But yeah, I mean, those are all things that you can get, and apparently when you get to a certain point, the shiny rate starts to increase or something, and as a result, like, you can just sit there and continuously search for the same Pokemon over and over again. Now, how do they do it? I'm not gonna really do a tutorial on it, like, you know, an actual separate video on it. So I mean, I don't mind kind of going about it. If you go into the Dex Nav and go into an area where you've actually caught a Pokemon, you have to catch one of the Pokemon in the area, so that way you can, you know, obviously see it in the Dex Nav thing. Otherwise, it's gonna be like a silhouette of it. It's gonna be just sitting there, like, you know, as a black outline. Select one of the Pokemon that you've already caught. Like, for example, I have my AlphaSapphire here, so I can kind of you know, kind of go about doing this. I'm currently in Moss Deep, and Moss Deep, even in the city, it kind of mentions it. Apparently, I've already caught a Tentacruel and a Pelipper. So if I were to click Tentacruel, there's a little option here that says Search. So if I were to press Search, it'll search the area and see if it can find a Tentacruel. And if it can't, it says it couldn't be found nearby. Try looking in a different spot. Of course, I'm in the middle of town, so it's not going to find one. Apparently something else showed up, and I don't obviously want that because it's just something completely random. But yeah, so I don't know if being spotted resets your level, but I do know that you know, like, you can search for a specific Pokemon just by going through your Dex Nav, and if it finds one, which it just actually found a Tentacruel for me, I could go and encounter it, and then I can continue going from there, etc., you know, one of those types of deals. And apparently, like, that helps you increase your shiny chances, and I don't know, like, it's interesting that that's a thing. I may actually give it a try myself at some point, just to see how it plays out. And it works for any Pokemon that's in the area. It could be the sea, it could be in a cave, it could be in grass, etc. You can find all kinds of stuff that way. So, yeah, just something I wanted to share with everyone, because I'm sure that there are a lot of people who like the shiny hunt. I know that there's been a lot of activity in the past on my channel in regards to shinies, because normally I would upload them. My camera's been kind of shit, and I haven't had much time to really do shiny hunts, so obviously I regret not being able to do much with that. But I mean, I don't know, if I can work on figuring out something I can do, like maybe borrow my mother's camera or something whenever one shows up or something, I could do that. I don't know, But there's also the fact that my SD card reader and my computer is completely shot now, so it's just retarded. I need to get a new computer at some point, a new camera. I'd like to get a Yeti mic, stuff like that. I'd like to do a lot of things to improve the quality on my channel. I really would, but I can't really rely on others for that either, so I have to somehow figure it out myself, of course. But anyways, Team Magma, and it's kind of interesting that like something's gonna happen as we get out of here, which is really cool. Either way, when you get here, you actually get to get your EXP share, or EXPL if you want to call it, because you know it does work against, or not against, but like for every Pokemon in your party, meaning free EVs for a Pokemon you don't really give a crap about, all that other happy junk. So that's part of the reason why it's going to be a huge pain in the ass when it comes to Beldon, because with the EXP share, we are going to be gaining more experience on it, and as a result, you know, potentially making it disobey us, which is no bueno. Also, that cry you heard in the overworld before we got interrupted by a Wurmple, that was most likely a Shroomish. I can't really tell off the top of my head, but I'm almost positive it's a Shroomish. Shroomish is actually one of the best grass types you can get in this game. I have a different grass type planned in mind. I do plan on getting a grass type, spoiler alert I suppose, but it's not for a while, so I mean we actually aren't going to be getting a new team member for a very good amount of time. I mean there's not much to do up till now anyways, so no, not up to now, but like up to like around the second gym, like there's not much really that you need to do. So, but considering we're done with Team Magma, who had only a dark type, and Ralts only has a psychic type move, therefore I can't do crap to Poochyena. We had to switch it out for Mudkip, and now that that's no longer the case, we're gonna put Ralts back into the lead so we can get some decent experience while allowing us to progress through the story, of course. And might I add that if you actually do catch Ralts, it's probably one of the best Pokemon you can use in the game. Kind of like how Lucario was in Black and White 2. It's one of those Pokemon that just hits really hard, can be really fast if you EV train, if you actually go out of your way to EV train, which by the way I did do that. But yeah, if you happen to EV train everything, if you happen to have like a decent nature and stuff like that, even if your IVs aren't all that great, it can still carry you through an entire game. So I mean, it's nice to kind of have that. I mean, when it comes to Ralts, you can either go Gardevoir or, you know, whatever. I'm going to interrupt myself here because this is the little interesting thing that I was talking about. We have someone kind of spying on us, I guess, and she reports back to Courtney, or whatever her name was. I literally, it went off the screen for like a second. I'm like, oh great, whatever. But yeah, she's reporting back to one of the Magma admins about us, and yeah, it's kind of interesting that that's kind of a thing. Another thing that kind of disappoints me is actually we don't get Bullet Seed here. We actually get Echoed Voice, and Echoed Voice isn't terrible. In my own personal version of you know, AlphaSapphire, I am also using a Gardevoir, and I went out of my way to breed my own for myself because it's broken, and I used a Ralts through all the way up through the third gym, I think, that carried Hyper Voice. Hyper Voice, and you actually get a Silk Scarf soon. I think you get the Silk Scarf in Rustboro. And again, EV trained. Doesn't really matter about your IVs at all, and as long as your nature isn't hindering your special attack, it's pretty scary. It actually is very, very good. Ralts did a lot of the work for me for a while. In fact, it surpassed my Swampert. Well, I guess it was like a Mudkip at the time, but you know, it actually passed it in levels because of it. It wasn't because of any like trading type of thing, because I actually hatched it on the game so it would actually have my OT and would therefore obey me. But yeah, I mean, regardless, like it managed to actually surpass my Mudkip because of a single normal move. That move is a lot better than people give it credit for. I mean, even whenever it's not stab, it's actually pretty disgusting, I'm not gonna lie to you. Maybe it's just because it was on a Pokemon that has really good special attack. I don't know. But all I know is it's pretty ridiculous. That's all I know. But yeah, this is pretty much the last thing we're going to be doing today, is we're going to be checking out this flower shop. At some point we'll be able to come back here and start buying like flowers and stuff for secret bases. At least I'm assuming, because it's kind of how it was in the originals. After, like, I think you beat Yearly 4, they start selling plants for secret bases and stuff, so we'll end up coming back here eventually, of course. We also get a very, I guess, a very important item here, which will be the Wilmer Pail. So we can not only plant, you know, berries and stuff, but we can also grow them with the Wilmer Pail. So, I mean, nice to have, right? Anyways, considering again we're over 15 minutes, you know, I'm trying to get as much in as I can. That's why I'm kind of pushing it towards 15 to 16 minutes now. Considering we're out of time, in the next episode we're going to finish off Route 104 and make our way to Rustboro City, and hopefully we can get started on the gym as well. So yeah, be sure to stay tuned for that. If you haven't already, don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and until next time, this is the PokeGamer signing out.